The desperate Plath sky was dark purple as Captain Ethan Walker's small rescue pod crashed through the thick alien atmosphere. Sparks flew inside the cabin. Alarms screamed in his ears. He braced himself as the pod hit the ground, sliding across the rocky soil, before finally stopping with a loud crunch. Everything went silent, except for the soft crackling of burning wires. Ethan sat still for a moment, breathing heavily. His hands shook. He checked his body. No serious injuries. He quickly grabbed his portable medkit, some food supplies, and his emergency scanner. The pod was heavily damaged. He had no way to call for help. He was alone on this unknown planet. The planet was marked uninhabited in all human records. But as Ethan stepped out of the pod, something felt strange. The air smelled sweet, but heavy. Tall, glowing trees stretched toward the sky, and odd animal sounds echoed in the distance. He checked his scanner. No signs of intelligent life, or so it seemed. Suddenly, a sound made him freeze. It was a soft sob, almost like a child crying. Ethan's heart raced. He slowly moved toward the sound, stepping carefully over glowing mushrooms and strange roots. As he turned a corner behind a tall rock formation, his eyes widened. A small alien girl stood there, crying. She was about 10 years old, with smooth pale blue skin and large glowing blue eyes. Her thin arms wrapped around herself as she sobbed. Strange little wings folded tightly against her back. When she noticed Ethan, her eyes grew wider with fear and hope mixed together. She took a shaky step forward and whispered in broken English, "Please, please fix my mom." Ethan was speechless. This planet was supposed to be empty. Who was she? And how did she know human language? He slowly raised his hands to show he meant no harm. "It's okay. I won't hurt you," he said softly. The girl sniffled, wiping her tears. Why my mom, ... She is sick, dying. You, human doctor." Ethan hesitated. "Yes, I'm a doctor. Where is your mother?" Without another word, the girl turned and signaled for him to follow. Her small feet moved quickly over the soft ground, leading him deeper into the forest. Strange glowing insects danced in the air. Strange animal eyes watched them from the shadows, but none attacked. After several minutes, they reached a hidden village built into a mountain cave. Dozens of alien beings peeked from their homes, whispering to each other as they saw Ethan. Some looked scared, others looked angry, but none attacked. They only stared at the human who had suddenly arrived in their secret world. The girl led him into a small chamber. Inside, an adult female alien lay on a simple bed made of soft plant fibers. Her skin had turned pale gray, and her breathing was weak. Strange purple veins spread across her neck and face. She was clearly dying. "She ate a bad plant," the girl explained. "The poison, ... spreading. We, ... don't know how to stop it. Please, ... help her." Ethan knelt beside the alien woman and opened his medkit. His scanner beeped and flashed as it read the strange alien biology. The poison was something he had never seen before. It attacked her organs fast, shutting them down one by one. He looked at the girl. "What's your name?" "Liara," she whispered. "Liara, I'll do everything I can, but I need more information. Is there an antidote? Any herbs or treatments your people use?" The elder of the village, a tall alien with glowing horns, stepped forward. "The cure exists," he said in a deep voice, "but it grows in the Forbidden Valley. Many have gone, none returned." Ethan frowned. "Why is it forbidden?" The elder's face was serious. "Monsters live there, protectors of the valley. They kill all who enter." Liara grabbed Ethan's hand. "But you, ... you strong. You can do it. Please, save my mom." Ethan looked at the weak woman, the desperate child, and the watching villagers. Part of him wanted to stay safe and hide. This wasn't his problem. but the other part, the stronger part, knew he couldn't turn away. He nodded slowly. "I'll go." The villagers gasped quietly. Lyra's eyes filled with hope. The elder handed Ethan a small map made of glowing material. "This may help you find the plant, but beware. If you die, your people may come looking, and we do not wish for war." Ethan studied the map, then looked at Liara. "Stay strong. I'll bring back what your mother needs." As he stepped out of the chamber and into the dark forest again, cold wind brushed his face. Somewhere out there, unknown dangers waited. But he had made his choice. The little girl's voice echoed softly behind him, full of hope. Double quotes, "Please, ... save her." The forbidden treatmentathon followed the glowing map under the strange alien sky. Above him, 2 moons floated, casting a cold light over the dark forest. Strange noises echoed through the trees, growls, whispers, and rustling leaves. Every sound made his heart pound, but he kept moving. Every second mattered. Lyra's mother was running out of time. The map showed a narrow path leading toward the Forbidden Valley. The air grew heavier as he walked, and the trees became taller and thicker. Their wide leaves glowed faintly like lanterns, but their shapes twisted unnaturally. Some trees seemed to move, bending as if watching him. As Ethan reached a cliffside, he stopped. Far below, hidden under layers of mist, lay the Forbidden Valley. From up here, it looked calm and beautiful, like a painting. Glowing flowers spread like stars across the ground. But Ethan knew better. Beneath that beauty, death waited. Suddenly, the ground under his feet trembled. He quickly stepped back. The rocky edge crumbled and fell into the valley, disappearing. Into the thick fog, Ethan's breathing grew heavier. His instincts screamed at him to turn back. But then he remembered Lyra's small hand grabbing his, her tearful eyes, her trembling voice. He had promised. After climbing down carefully, Ethan finally stepped onto the valley floor. The fog was thick, cold, and swirling like a living thing. His scanner beeped faintly, detecting small life forms all around him. Unseen creatures moved just outside his vision. He walked slowly, searching for the herb the elder described, a small blue flower with 5 glowing petals, called Varella. It could neutralize the poison. But finding it was only part of the danger. He stopped. A loud growl came from the mist. He turned around quickly. 2 glowing yellow eyes appeared in the fog, followed by a low growling sound. Then, the creature stepped forward, a massive beast, twice Ethan's size. Its skin was covered in thick armored plates, and its long tail whipped through the air. Sharp claws dug into the soft earth. Ethan froze. His heart raced. Slowly, he reached into his bag and pulled out a small flare. He knew the creatures here were sensitive to light. The beast lunged. Ethan lit the flare and threw it at the creature's face. Bright red light exploded in the air, blinding the beast. It roared in pain and stumbled back, clawing at its own face. Ethan used the moment to run. He sprinted through the fog, jumping over roots and sliding under low-hanging branches. Behind him, the creature roared again and charged. But as Ethan reached a narrow rocky tunnel, the beast stopped. It refused to enter. The air inside the tunnel was even colder. Strange symbols glowed faintly on the walls, like old warnings. Ethan's scanner detected no large life forms ahead. He moved carefully. As he stepped deeper into the tunnel, something strange happened. The fog thinned. Soft blue light began to shine ahead. And then, in a small open chamber, he saw it. The the flowers grew in clusters around a crystal pool. They glowed softly, almost inviting him. But Ethan's relief quickly turned to caution. He noticed strange markings on the ground, claw marks. Many creatures had fought and died here. Bones lay scattered around the flowers. Some still had bite marks. He stepped forward carefully. His scanner beeped again. A hidden danger was nearby. Suddenly, a loud screech echoed from above. Ethan looked up to see several small flying creatures swooping down from the ceiling. They had sharp wings like blades and glowing red eyes. Ethan quickly activated his shield device. A thin energy bubble formed around him. The creatures attacked, their sharp wings slashing against the shield. Sparks flew. The shield flickered under pressure. He grabbed a small electric pulse grenade from his belt and threw it into the swarm. With a loud crack, a burst of blue energy exploded, stunning the creatures. They fell to the ground, twitching. The shield was almost drained, but Ethan was alive. He rushed forward, carefully plucking the Varela flowers and placing them in a sealed container. The scanner confirmed they were pure and fresh. This was what Lyra's mother needed, but as he turned to leave, a deep rumble shook the ground. From the shadows, a second predator appeared, much larger than the first. Its head almost touched the ceiling. Sharp horns curled from its head, and its mouth dripped with thick green saliva. Its heavy breath filled the air like steam. This was the true guardian of the valley. Ethan's mind raced. He was trapped. The creature blocked the exit. His shield was too weak to protect him again. He couldn't fight it directly. He looked around. High above, loose rocks hung from the cave ceiling. Quickly, he set his remaining pulse charges onto a nearby pillar. If he could collapse part of the ceiling, maybe he could block the creature's path and escape. The beast roared and charged Ethan. Triggered the explosives. The pillar exploded with a loud boom. Heavy rocks crashed down between Ethan and the charging monster. Dust filled the air as the creature screeched angrily. Unable to reach him, Ethan didn't wait. He ran through the narrow passage, climbing quickly out of the valley behind him. The angry roars echoed through the mist. After what felt like hours, Ethan finally reached the top of the cliff again. His chest burned from exhaustion, but he was alive. And more importantly, he had the cure. As he looked back at the misty valley, he whispered, "I made it." But his relief didn't last long. As he turned toward the village path, 3 tall alien figures stepped out from behind the trees. They were not villagers. They wore dark armor and carried long spears. Their faces were cold and unfriendly. One of them spoke in a deep voice. "Human, you were not supposed to survive." Ethan froze. A new threat had arrived. The hidden hunters stood still. Cold wind brushed his face as he stared at the 3 armored aliens blocking his path. Their tall bodies looked stronger than the villagers. Their sharp armor plates gleamed under the twin moons. They held long spears with glowing tips that hummed softly. The leader stepped forward. His voice was deep and cold. "You were not invited here, human. You have broken our sacred boundary." Ethan kept his hands raised. "I came to help. A child brought me. Her mother is dying. I gathered the cure." The alien's eyes narrowed. "You should have stayed inside your crashed machine. Now, you carry what we guard. That flower belongs to us." Ethan's heartbeat quickened. These were not part of the village. These were the hunters. The elder warned him about secret protectors of the Forbidden Valley. "I don't want trouble," Ethan said calmly. "I only want to save her." The leader gave a dry laugh. "Your kindness means nothing here. Long ago, we called for humans. Your kind ignored our cries. Many died. We learned to survive without you. We do not trust humans anymore." Ethan's mind raced. If they attacked now, he wouldn't stand a chance. His shield was nearly empty, his weapons limited. But he saw something odd. The 2 hunters behind the leader looked uneasy. Their eyes shifted toward each other. Maybe deep down, not all of them wanted violence. "Look," Ethan said softly, "you hate my people. Maybe you should, but this child, she is innocent. She believes I can save her mother. Will you punish her for trusting a human?" For a moment, silence filled the air. The leader's face remained hard, but the 2 behind him lowered their spears slightly. The leader growled, frustrated. "You speak like our elders once did." But trust brought us pain, the younger hunter whispered. What if this time is different? The leader glared at him, but before he could speak, a loud roar echoed from the valley below. The giant guardian beast was still hunting, angry from its earlier defeat. Its cries filled the night like thunder. The younger hunter took a step back. If he defeated the guardian and returned alive, maybe the old ways speak through him. The leader clenched his jaw, staring at Ethan. Finally, after a long silence, he lowered his spear. You have one chance, human. Return to your village. Heal the female. But, if you fail, if this is a trick, we will come. Ethan nodded quickly. I understand. The hunter stepped aside, allowing him to pass. As he moved forward, one of the younger hunters whispered behind him, May the stars guide your hands, human. Ethan didn't waste a second. He hurried down the forest path toward the hidden village. He could feel the weight of the sealed container in his backpack. The varella flowers were still fresh, but time was running out. As he ran, the forest seemed darker than before. Strange whispers followed him through the trees. Shadows moved. Even though the hunters had allowed him to pass, something else was watching. His scanner beeped faintly. Unidentified life forms moved parallel to him, fast. Silent. Suddenly, a sharp sound cracked through the air. A thin needle-like dart zipped past his face, embedding itself into a tree. Green liquid dripped from its tip. Poison. Ambush. Ethan jumped behind a large root as several small masked figures emerged from the shadows. They were not part of the armored hunters. These were rogues, outcasts who preyed on anyone foolish enough to enter the forbidden zone. They moved fast, their thin bodies covered in cloaks made from forest vines. They carried small crossbows and long knives. The leader of the rogues hissed, Human medicine fetches a high price. Give us the flowers. We may let you live. Ethan gritted his teeth. There was no reasoning with them. He checked his last pulse. Grenade, only one left. He had to be careful. He whispered to himself, stay calm. The rogues advanced, spreading out to trap him. Ethan waited. Seconds felt like minutes. As one rogue lunged, Ethan threw the pulse grenade directly at his feet. A loud blast of electric light exploded, knocking several rogues to the ground. Two more charged at him, but Ethan ducked under their blades, using his medkit as a shield. He sprinted forward, dodging another poison dart. The forest blurred as he ran. The village was close. He could see faint glowing lights ahead. Behind him, the remaining rogues chased, screeching angrily. But then, out of the darkness, tall armored figures appeared again. The hunters. The rogues stopped, realizing they were surrounded. One hunter raised his spear. Enough. The rogues hissed and slowly backed away into the shadows, vanishing like smoke. Ethan stopped to catch his breath. The younger hunter approached him. You attract danger, human. Ethan managed a weak smile. I attract hope. The hunter said nothing, but a faint hint of respect flickered in his eyes. Finally, after what felt like endless running, Ethan reached the village gates. Liara was waiting, her small hands clasped tightly together, eyes full of fear. Did you find it? She asked, in a shaking voice. Ethan knelt and pulled out the sealed container. The blue flowers inside glowed softly. We have a chance now, he said. The villagers gasped as he entered. The elder stepped forward. Prepare the treatment chamber. Several villagers moved quickly, setting up tools made of crystal and metal. Even though their technology looked simple, it was advanced in ways Ethan didn't fully understand. Ethan carefully mixed the varella with a stabilizing agent from his medkit. The serum shimmered, changing colors as it formed. Liara held her mother's hand, whispering softly, Hold on, Mama, please. Ethan inserted the serum into the delivery device, a mixture of both human and alien technology. He wiped sweat from his forehead. This was it. The elder nodded. If you fail, there will be no second chance. Ethan steadied his hands and slowly injected the serum into the alien mother's bloodstream. Soft lights pulsed across her skin as the medicine spread through her body. Seconds passed, then minutes. Everyone held their breath. Suddenly, the mother gasped sharply, her chest rising. The strange purple veins began to fade. Her skin color slowly returned to its natural pale blue glow. Her breathing became steady. The villagers whispered in awe. Lyra's eyes filled with tears of joy. She's breathing. Ethan exhaled deeply, finally allowing himself to feel relief. But in his mind, one thought remained. This was only the beginning. Outside the village, hidden in the dark forest, other eyes still watched. Not all threats were defeated. The secret they never told entire village stood silent around the healing chamber. Soft lights pulsed across the walls as the alien mother's body slowly stabilized. Ethan watched carefully, monitoring her vitals on his portable scanner. For the first time since his crash landing, he allowed himself to feel hope. Lyra never let go of her mother's hand. Her tiny fingers gripped tightly, whispering gentle words in her native tongue. The mother's eyelids fluttered. Slowly, weakly, she opened her glowing eyes. "Mama," Lyra cried, tears flowing freely. The mother struggled to speak, but managed. A faint smile. "My child, ... you are safe." The villagers gasped. Some even wept quietly. The elder stepped forward, his voice softer than before. "You have done what none of us could, human." Ethan smiled gently. "We did it together." But deep in his heart, he knew this was far from over. Outside the chamber, the armored hunters stood guard. Their leader paced slowly, eyes fixed on the forest beyond the village. The younger hunter approached him. "He succeeded," the young one whispered. "Perhaps the old stories were true." The leader grunted. "One act does not erase centuries of betrayal." But he risked his life because he is curious, like all humans, and curiosity brings danger. The younger hunter looked uneasy but said no more. Hours later, as the mother rested peacefully, the elder invited Ethan to the council chamber. Strange glowing symbols covered the walls. Several other elders sat in a circle, their faces serious. "We owe you a great debt," the elder began. "But you must understand. Your arrival has stirred things we tried to bury." Ethan sat down, curious. "What do you mean?" The elder took a deep breath. "Long ago, when your kind first explored the stars, we reached out for help. Our people were dying from a great disease, something that came from beyond this world." Ethan leaned forward, listening carefully. "Our messages were ignored. Your leader saw no profit, no benefit in aiding a distant unknown race. We were left to suffer. Many of our kind perished. Others became ... different." He paused. Those who survived split into two groups. Some remained here, hidden, protecting the old ways. Others turned bitter, forming the rogue clans you encountered. Ethan's chest tightened. Guilt washed over him. His own people's greed had abandoned these beings long ago. "And the hunters?" Ethan asked quietly. The elder nodded. "They were once our strongest warriors. Now they guard the Forbidden Valley, where dangerous mutations still exist. They ensure no one disturbs the balance. Until I came, yes, your arrival has forced us to face old wounds." Suddenly, one of the other elders spoke, his voice sharp. "But there is more, you must know." He tapped a crystal on the table. A holographic image appeared familiar to Ethan. It showed a human battleship. Huge, advanced. "This is not the first time a human came here." Ethan frowned. "What?" "When, 12 years ago, a small group of humans landed on our planet. But they were not like you. They came to take, not to help." The hologram shifted, showing armed soldiers capturing alien villagers, stealing resources, and scanning strange underground crystals. Ethan's hands clenched into fists. "Pirates." The elder nodded. "Pervaders, mercenaries. They found valuable minerals deep under our lands. When we resisted, they left, but not before taking much. We were forced to erase all trace of our existence from your star maps. That's why your records marked this world uninhabited. Ethan felt sick. I didn't know. We believe you, but others may follow your crash signal. If they find us again, it could mean war. Ethan sat in silence, processing everything. His crash landing had accidentally exposed these people to danger once more. The elder's voice grew grave. There is one more secret. He pressed another crystal. The image shifted again, showing a massive underground chamber filled with glowing crystals, unlike anything Ethan had seen. Large machines human-made sat, abandoned, half-buried in the earth. Beneath this village lies an ancient power. The crystals amplify life energy, but in unstable ways. It was these crystals that caused the sickness in our ancestors. Ethan stared at the images, amazed and horrified. The pirates tried to harvest the energy but failed. The crystals rejected them. But if your governments discover their true potential, they will come again. The chamber fell silent. The weight of history pressed heavily around them. Finally, Ethan spoke softly. I didn't come here to harm anyone, but others might. We need to find a way to protect your people before it's too late. The elder nodded. There is one way. He leaned closer. We must destroy the beacon inside your crashed ship before others trace your location. Ethan's eyes widened. Destroy my only way home? Yes. If not, more humans will come. Some may not be as kind as you. For a long moment, Ethan sat frozen. Going home meant safety, comfort, family, but staying meant protecting Liara, her mother, and this entire hidden world. His thoughts were interrupted by urgent shouting from outside. A young villager burst into the chamber. Elder, Hunter's report. Movement near the wreckage. Outsiders have landed. Ethan stood up instantly. Who? The young one shook his head. Unknown. But they wear human armor. The elder's voice turned cold. Then we are out of time. Ethan, and the hunters, moved quickly through the forest under cover of darkness. Glowing insects buzzed around them as they approached the crash site. In the distance, faint lights flickered. Small shuttles had landed near Ethan's broken pod. Several armed figures in dark armor moved carefully, scanning the area with advanced equipment. Ethan's blood ran cold. These were not official rescue teams. They were mercenaries. A voice crackled from one of their radios. Search the wreck. Locate the data core. The minerals under this sector are worth billions. The hunters exchanged tense glances. The leader whispered, they have already traced the underground chamber. Ethan clenched his jaw. If they activate the beacon, they'll bring more ships. The leader growled. We must stop them now. The group spread out silently, preparing to strike. Ethan's heart pounded. He wasn't a soldier, but he knew one thing for sure. He wouldn't let Lyra's world be destroyed, not again. The battle for the Bacanathan crouched behind a large glowing tree, watching the mercenaries move like shadows around the wrecked pod. The cold night wind carried their voices through the dark forest. Stay sharp, one of them ordered. Scan for any locals. They wore black armored suits, equipped with advanced weapons, plasma rifles, energy shields, scanning drones. Their faces were covered by dark helmets with glowing red visors. Everything about them screamed danger. Ethan whispered to the hunter leader beside him. How many? The leader's eyes narrowed. 12, heavily armed. The younger hunter added, they are not here to rescue you. They came to take Ethan. Nodded grimly. We can't let them reactivate the beacon. Agreed. The leader growled. If they send a signal, larger ships will follow. Our world will be stripped. A small scanning drone hovered above the wreckage, flashing red as it scanned the broken pod. Signal core located, the drone announced. Data extraction in progress. One of the mercenaries placed a small device on the pod's surface. Wires slithered like snakes, connecting to the main beacon inside. Lights flickered as data began uploading. They're pulling the beacon data, Ethan hissed. The hunter leader gave a silent hand signal. The warriors spread out into the forest, moving like shadows. The plan was simple: attack fast, disable the uplink, and prevent any signal from escaping. But before they could move, another voice crackled over the mercenaries' radio. Central Command here. Data link stable. Prepare beacon transmission in 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Ethan, single quotes Art pounded. There was no time, he whispered urgently. I have a better idea. The hunters turned to him. What? The leader asked. Draw them away from the pod. Make them chase us. I'll sneak in and destroy the data core directly. The hunters exchanged quick glances. It was risky, but perhaps the only chance. The leader nodded. We will give you your chance, human. Without waiting. The hunters split into 2 teams. From the opposite side of the clearing, one hunter fired a small energy blast into the air. The mercenaries jumped, weapons ready. Contact. Movement in the trees, shouted one mercenary immediately. Several mercenaries rushed toward the noise, chasing the hunters into the dense forest. Plasma bolts lit up the night like lightning. Ethan took a deep breath and sprinted toward the pod. He reached the wreck, sliding behind a broken wing panel. Only 4 mercenaries remained near the pod, still focused on the data extraction. Transmission begins in 2 minutes, said the drone. Ethan crawled quietly along the side, pulling a small plasma cutter from his belt. He carefully sliced open a maintenance panel, exposing wires. One mercenary turned slightly. Did you hear something? Ethan froze. The mercenary slowly approached the panel, scanning with his rifle. Ethan held his breath, waiting. Just before the mercenary spotted him, a loud explosion echoed from deep in the forest. One of the hunters had triggered a trap. The mercenary turned back quickly. They're using traps. Regroup. Ethan exhaled and worked faster. He disconnected the beacon's primary circuit, but it was protected by an energy shield. The shield core was buried deep inside the pod. 45 seconds to transmission, the drone announced. Ethan gritted his teeth. No time for slow work. He crawled under the pod, sparks raining over him, and reached the shield core, a glowing crystal, powered by human tech. 30 seconds. He pulled out his emergency override chip, a risky move. If it failed, the pod could explode. But there was no choice. He jammed the chip into the core. The shield flickered. 20 seconds. Lights flashed wildly. The beacon's power circuits overloaded. 15 seconds. Ethan yanked out the control wires. Transmission failed. The drone reported suddenly. Critical error. Alarms blared. The beacon shut down completely. What the hell? One mercenary shouted. We lost the uplink. The mercenaries rushed back toward the pod, weapons raised. Ethan rolled out from under the wreckage and sprinted toward the trees. Plasma bolts flew past him, burning the ground. He's here. The human. They chased him into the forest. Suddenly, the hunters reappeared, launching a coordinated ambush. Energy spears and plasma arrows flew through the air. Several mercenaries were hit, collapsing to the ground. One hunter tackled a mercenary, disarming him and slamming him into a tree. The forest turned into chaos. Laser blasts, screams, and flashes of energy. Ethan ducked behind a tree, catching his breath. The hunters fought fiercely, using their knowledge of the land to outmaneuver the mercenaries. But the mercenaries were well trained. They regrouped quickly, activating their personal shields. 2 hunters fell under heavy fire. Ethan grabbed a fallen mercenary's rifle and fired, covering the hunters. His shots pierced weak points in the mercenary shields. The battle raged on. Just when it seemed the mercenaries might overpower them, a deep rumble shook the ground. Everyone froze from the shadows. Glowing eyes appeared. Multiple sets. The guardian beasts from the Forbidden Valley had followed the scent of battle. The largest beast roared, shaking the trees. Its armored body crashed through the forest, towering over everyone. Panic erupted. The mercenaries turned their weapons toward the beast, firing wildly. Plasma bolts bounced off its thick armor plates. The hunters pulled back. Using the chaos to regroup, the beast charged, crushing 2 mercenaries under its massive claws. Others screamed, running in all directions. Ethan shouted, "Fall back. Get to higher ground." The hunters followed him, climbing a steep rocky ledge overlooking the battle below. The mercenaries scattered, some trying to reach their shuttles, others firing desperately at the raging beasts. Within minutes, most of the mercenaries were either dead or fleeing into the night. The Guardian roared one last time, then vanished into the darkness. Its territory defended. Silence returned to the forest. Ethan and the hunters stood, breathing heavily, watching the destroyed battlefield below. The hunter leader looked at him. "Your plan worked, human." Ethan nodded, exhausted. "We got lucky." "No," the younger hunter said. "You fought for us." They returned to the village before dawn. The beacon was destroyed. The mercenaries were gone, for now. Their world was safe, but Ethan knew it was only temporary. If the mercenaries had found this place once, others could find it again, and there was still one final choice he had to make. The final decision. First light of dawn broke across the alien sky as Ethan and the hunters returned to the village. The air was heavy with smoke from distant fires. Exhausted but alive, the warriors were welcomed back with silent respect. Many villagers stood gathered, their glowing eyes filled with both relief and quiet fear. The elder waited at the entrance to the healing chamber. Beside him stood Lyara, still holding her mother's hand. When she saw Ethan, she ran toward him. "You came back?" she cried. Ethan knelt and hugged her tightly. "Of course I did." The mother sat up slowly, stronger than before, though weak. Her voice was full of gratitude. "You saved my child, and my people," the villagers whispered among themselves. Never before had a human stood between them and death. Many of their oldest stories spoke only of pain and betrayal. But this human was different. Yet deep down, Ethan knew the danger was far from over. The elder's voice broke the moment of peace. "Come inside, Ethan. We must speak." Inside the council chamber, the atmosphere was tense. The holographic image of the destroyed mercenary shuttles hovered above the table. Bodies lay scattered across the forest floor. The guardian beasts had returned to their hidden valley, but not before leaving clear signs of their presence. The elder stared at the image. "The mercenaries failed, but their people will notice their disappearance. They'll send search teams," Ethan agreed. "And if they find your world, this village won't survive." The room grew quiet. Another elder spoke. "Even now, your leaders may already be tracking your crash signal. Your ship's emergency beacon was active for several hours before you disabled it. We cannot hide forever," a second elder whispered. "Not if more humans come." Ethan looked at the glowing map spread across the table. "You said the crystals under this village power your world, but they are unstable and dangerous." "Yes," the elder nodded. "The energy feeds our crops, our homes, our healing chambers, but humans see only profit. If they try to extract it, the crystals will shatter, and if that happens, ... He paused. "This entire land will die." Ethan felt the weight of the moment. He wasn't just deciding for himself anymore. Every choice now could decide the future of an entire species. "Then we have only one option," he said slowly. "You have to disappear. Completely." The elders exchanged glances. "Hide underground," Ethan continued. "Use the crystal network to shield your energy signatures. Block every trace of your existence. Even if search teams come, they will find nothing." The elder raised a brow. "And you?" Ethan exhaled. "I will lead them away. Give them a trail to follow, a false path far from here." "You would sacrifice yourself for us?" one elder asked, astonished. "If I don't, they will keep searching. Eventually, they'll find you." The elder stared at him in silence. Finally, he nodded. You have the heart of a guardian. The younger hunter stepped forward. I will help him. The leader's eyes narrowed. If you leave, you may never return. I know. The young hunter glanced at Ethan. But I trust him. The council agreed. Preparations began immediately. For the next 2 days, the villagers worked non-stop. Ancient tunnels beneath the village were reopened, deep passageways, carved long ago to escape the great sickness. The crystal network pulsed softly, ready to mask the entire village's presence. Ethan provided data from his crashed pod to help scramble any human scanners. False data signals were programmed, pointing to a distant moon on the far side of the system. The young hunter, named Kieran, trained alongside Ethan. Together, they studied maps, escape routes, and old hunter codes to stay ahead of any search teams. As the final hours approached, Liara found Ethan sitting alone under a glowing tree. You're leaving, aren't you? She whispered. Ethan smiled, gently. Yes, her small voice trembled. Will I see you again? He paused, trying to find the right words. Maybe not soon, but listen to me, Lee. You and your mother are safe now. That's what matters. She nodded, tears filling her eyes. Thank you. He pulled a small pendant from his pocket, a simple stone wrapped in silver wire. This belonged to my daughter. She would have liked you. Liara held it close to her chest. I will keep it safe. As dawn broke on the 3rd day, the village was silent. The entrance to the tunnels closed slowly, sealed behind ancient crystal gates. Ethan and Kieran stood alone in the forest. Above them, small blinking lights appeared in the sky. Human search ships had arrived. They're here, Kieran whispered. Ethan checked his scanner. Time to lead them away. Hours later, in orbit above the planet, the human search vessel Horizon reported findings. No life detected on primary site. Beacon destroyed. Wreckage minimal. Expand search radius, the commander ordered. On the ground, Ethan and Kieran moved fast, planting fake data transmitters, leading the human scanners toward distant mountains and barren valleys. Drones buzzed overhead, scanning endlessly. At one point, a patrol ship nearly spotted them, hiding behind large rock formations. They stayed completely still as the engines roared above. Finally, after days of false trails, the human ships left, convinced the planet was barren and uninhabited. Weeks passed, in the far reaches of open space. Ethan and Kieran finally reached a neutral trade station, far from human-controlled territories. They sat quietly inside a small bar, blending into the strange mix of alien travelers. Glowing signs flashed around them. Merchants bargained in dozens of languages. Are you sure you want to stay out here? Kieran asked. Ethan smiled faintly. This is better. Out here, no one asks questions. The village is safe. You gave them that chance. Ethan nodded slowly. And maybe, one day, your people and mine can meet again, but on better terms. Kieran raised his glass. 2 new beginnings. Ethan smiled, tapping his cup against Kieran's. 2 new beginnings. As the station drifted quietly through the stars, somewhere far behind them, hidden deep beneath the surface, an entire world continued to live safe, secret, and free, for now. The future they built years past. The stars moved across the endless black sky, as they always had. But somewhere, hidden beneath layers of rock, glowing crystals, and ancient secrets, life continued quietly on the alien world. The village, once exposed to danger, had become a thriving underground sanctuary. The tunnels had expanded. Beautiful glowing gardens grew beneath crystal ceilings. Children laughed as they ran through soft fields lit by blue and green lights. The energy from the crystals, once unstable, was now balanced by the careful work of both old knowledge and new understanding. Above, from orbit, no signal, no sign, no trace of civilization remained. To any passing ships, The planet was nothing more than a quiet, dead rock. But deep below, hope lived. Lyra had grown taller now, her wings stronger. Though still young, she was already being trained as a healer, learning from her mother, who fully recovered from her illness. Her people often spoke of the human who stayed, though many of the youngest children only knew him through stories, and far beyond the star system. On a neutral trade station in deep space, Ethan continued his new life. He had become something of a legend among travelers, a human who lived among aliens, who fought mercenaries, who saved an entire race by sacrificing his way home. But Ethan never spoke much of those days. He kept his memories close, like a quiet flame inside. One evening, as Ethan sat alone in a quiet corner of the station's observation deck, Kieran approached. The young hunter, now older, stronger, and wiser, sat beside him, placing 2 steaming cups on the table. "You still sit here every night," Kieran said with a faint smile. Ethan chuckled softly. "Habit, I guess. Watching the stars, hoping for something, just remembering." They sat in silence, watching ships pass by like small silver fish drifting across the dark ocean. After a long pause, Kieran spoke again. "Our people are thriving, Ethan. The children grow strong. The sickness has never returned." "I'm glad," Ethan whispered. "They remember you. I remember them too." Kieran studied him. "You could have returned home, after all. These years, you still could." Ethan's eyes stayed on the stars, and leave everything behind. "No. Earth was never my true home, Kieran. Not after what I saw. Not after what I did." Kieran nodded. "You belong among the stars." Suddenly, a soft chime echoed from Ethan's personal communicator. Rarely did he receive messages. He checked the device that it was a private encrypted signal, an old frequency he hadn't used since his days on Earth. Kieran watched curiously. "Who is it?" Ethan frowned, reading the message. His voice was calm but serious. "A former colleague, someone I trusted once. He says more mining fleets are coming to this sector." Kieran's expression darkened. After all this time, they still haven't given up. Greed never sleeps. Kieran leaned forward. "Then we act." "Not yet," Ethan said calmly. "We're not ready for war, but we will be ready to protect. Always." Kieran smiled faintly. "We were hunters once. Now we are guardians." Ethan raised his cup. 2 guardians. They drank quietly, both knowing what it meant. On the hidden world, deep beneath the surface, the elder gathered the village in the great chamber. Soft crystal lights pulsed with energy as the people listened. "My children," the elder said, his voice strong but warm. "We once lived in fear, but now we live with purpose." He looked toward Lyra, who stood proudly beside her mother. "Soon, new stars will rise. Dangers will return. But when they come, we will not hide in fear. We will protect what is precious. We will honor the one who taught us to stand strong." The villagers bowed their heads, placing their hands over their hearts. "We are not weak. We are not alone," Lyra whispered softly. "We are the guardians." Far across the galaxy, inside secret human councils, new plans were already being drawn. They spoke of lost colonies, rare crystals, and hidden planets rumored to hold untapped energy. Greed whispered through boardrooms and command centers. But they had no idea that a small village, hidden under glowing crystals, was watching, preparing, and that somewhere, a single human and his alien friend were already waiting. Later that night, Ethan walked through the quiet trade station alone. He paused at a small shop window, looking at an old, hand-drawn star map. One tiny dot marked the planet where his journey had begun. He smiled softly. "They will come," he whispered. "But this time, they won't find prey. They'll find guardians." He turned, disappearing into the crowd. The stars above continued to shine, and the story wasn't over. Not yet.